I'm not sure that your typical scientist has patience and determination to start out with. When someone moves from the undergrad level to the PhD grad student level, that's the first time that most people actually end up really having to face the innate frustration that's inherent in doing science. And a lot of people don't like it at all, and a lot of people drop out at that point for that reason. I think when I get people coming to me asking me for advice about what to do, I give a very different answer if they're asking me what to do at undergrad level relative to what to do at doctoral level. For undergrad level, I say don't specialize too much. I say aging is a really tricky thing, and it affects organisms at every level of organization. You really need to be a geneticist and a cell biologist and a molecular biologist and a biochemist and a physiologist all in one. But at the PhD level, the critical thing is to be working in an area that you're really passionate about. Don't think so much about who you're working with or whatever. Just work on something you're really passionate about. And the reason for that is that if you don't, you will get disillusioned and you will grind to a standstill. You've got to really want to be working on what you're working on. Because bad things are going to happen. You're going, in general, to have periods of maybe 6 months that are useless, where you make zero progress. Now, I personally had a very interesting situation that way. I got my PhD in a way that most people don't, essentially having just written a book. And
what's the title?
That book was called The Mitochondrial Free Radical Theory of Aging, published in 1999. But previous to that, between about 86, 85 actually, and 91, I had learned how to do research, how to work on really hard problems. And I'd learned that in a rather unconventional way. Rather than doing a PhD and being guided in this, I basically worked in a two-man company that wasn't really a company. The other guy was essentially doing contract programming to pay the bills to let me be a full-time researcher, but a researcher without a supervisor. I was working in an area of computer science called software verification, and it's really hard, and it took me 5 or 6 years to get where I wanted to get with the work I was doing. That's PhD kind of length, right? I think, I'm a very resilient guy emotionally, no question, but I don't know how resilient. I don't know whether I could have done that if things had gone non-uniformly well. In practice, I kept making small but significant breakthroughs at a reasonable frequency throughout the entire 6 years. And
is that what you feel is the formula to keep everybody going?
It makes it a lot easier. The point is, it's unusual. I just got lucky that way. I could have had a period of 6 months of making zero progress, and it could have destroyed me. It could have disillusioned me, and I could have gone back into doing tedious stuff, right? So, most people don't get that lucky. They need to be working on something that they're already passionate about, and they usually need guidance. They need a professor in charge of them who has been there themselves.